In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to play endgame as a beginner. So right off the back, assuming you have good mats and good loot, do not be afraid to use mats. This does not mean start triple editing and free building in endgame, just use them well but also use them when you have to. You shouldn't risk dying in endgame to save mats, it's pointless. If you're ever in a game and you get a max zone pool, sometimes you will have to box up halfway through the rotate even though you're not completely in the zone yet, especially in moving zones. This is a skill that mainly just comes with experience from endgames, like scrims and stuff. You also have to learn to play to your advantages. For example, if you have good aim, you might want to try and play height so you can beam players during their rotates. Or if you're good at box fighting, you might want to play in the mid ground, because that's where most players are, in boxes. Another good skill is knowing when to rotate. Being able to know when to rotate late and early is a very good skill, especially if you're in a stacked game that contains Storm Surge. For example, if you decide to make a late rotate, you can beam all of other players for Storm Surge while you sit in your box. Or if you've already racked enough with Storm Surge up from the mid game, you can just make an early rotate and just chill in your box. If you want to get good at all these skills, I would recommend playing late game or joining scrims. Depending on what region you are, there are different scrims for each region. Another good thing to do is recognizing will you play better in silence or will people talking. For example, if you prefer a more silenced, focused approach, you might want to take the time to mute your team members if you're playing trios or duos. Or maybe you play better when your teammates are trying to hype you up. Either works. If you're playing Fortnite in a device that can't run endgames very well, you'll need to adapt your playstyle so you can still place well. For example, if you play in a low tier PC, you might want to try and save a bit more mats rather than going for refreshes. Talking about refreshes, knowing when to go for refreshes is a very good skill. The advice I will give you is when you have around 200 mats left, I will recommend going for a refresh. Anything under that will just be too hard to kill an opponent. Anything over that is just risk dying for no reason. If you're safe in a box and you know you won't have to rotate for a while, you should 9 times out of 10 use that time to scout out from a cone to try and gather information about your next rotate. This can make all the difference. If you're boxed up and a lot of people are fighting around you, I would probably not try and scout out your cone because this could affect your awareness and get you eliminated. My final tip is knowing when to play Storm with your heals. If you know you have a tough rotate ahead and you have an extra medkit or two, use them in Storm to get extra placement. And it is the end of today's video. If you liked it, please subscribe and give it a like. And now I'm out.